content creation is not a waste of time because you learn so many skills.
चलो ठीक है ये मेरा हो गया
I feel very awkward at times because
you don't want to say that you don't like it.
Fancy.
Block कर ले इसका भी block कर ले.
Context wise, I think if you know your audience well and you know why people are following you, then that's the indication of what kind of content you need to create.
How comfortable you would be with Hindi and English, और मेरी दोनों ही equally खराब है.
You're ready.
So I was telling you, Abhi, that I was very nervous and very intimidated by this podcast. So I mailed you and we spoke about it. But the thing was, most of the time whenever I reach out to a creator, so most of the time हमारी ना ऐसे पहले बात हो जाती है, like we have spoken to each other and we have had some conversation and then I'm like, oh, we can do a podcast. I think I like this person. But this was the first time I directly approached somebody for a podcast and I was like, कैसे बात करूँ? Like now here I don't know the line. Like, okay, this is comfortable, this is not comfortable.
We'll figure it out as we go.
Yeah, because you must have figured out by the name of the podcast, it's Badmaaash Baatein. So, hello people of internet. Today we have Satshya with us, and I genuinely love her content, and especially like she has some relatable stuff as well. She also has some trendy stuff as well. And then later on I checked out her YouTube. That's where I got to know how, like, some hair thing I was looking for, and that was the first time I saw your YouTube channel. So I was like, oh, I have seen her on Instagram. I did not go from Instagram. Then oh, okay, she's the same person. Because I think, yeah, I wanted to bleach my hair and I was very skeptical about it. I'm like, okay, I need to watch every single video. And yeah, then I watched your video and then I still did not do it by myself because I was too scared. I got it done.
You have some pink and some purple streak.
So I did like a balayage thing, but I got it done from a salon, but then I redo it by myself. So
oh, nice. That's the best approach, honestly. That's the best approach.
Yeah, so that's something I do. But I got to know recently that you also are working.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you do? Like, what's your...
I work as a senior content strategist for a edtech startup. So I've been there for about a year now. Yeah, about a year.
Content strategist. Okay, so let's talk about this first. What is your job role exactly like? Because I am also a social media strategist and like I handle a couple of social media accounts in an agency. So I have an idea what you do, but because we are in a startup and I think you are also in a startup, so there are times that you have to do multiple tasks. Just one single person has to do it. So can you talk about that? Yeah, what's your job like exactly?
Yeah. So let me explain what the startup is. I think that'll make things clearer. So basically, it's a startup that's founded by a journalist who I used to work with. And she saw that there was a dearth of civic education in India. Basically, people don't give so much importance to the social sciences, which is very important if you want well-informed citizens. So she came up with this plan. So basically, it's called Mura, and the first part is it's an app which helps UPSC aspirants study the news better so that they can answer it for your current affairs exam that you have, the paper that you have. So it helps break down the news where you have maybe complicated policy decisions and things like that. It breaks it into easy to understand ways, and also has a way where you can like quiz yourself, then you see your analytics and you compete with others. So it's basically, in short, a way for you to learn the news better. And the other part is we have a mentorship program for young teenagers who say if they wanted to become a social media strategist like you, but they don't know anybody who would help them out that way. So it's a way to connect people like you with teenagers who are still figuring out their way, so that they could have an open dialogue and a conversation about what their skills are, what they're interested in, what they need to do, so that they are also better prepared for their future. So what I do in that sense is, for the first half for the app, I used to write all the stuff for the app, and then for this I work on the content plus handle social media as well.
So how's that like, handling social media?
It's interesting because whatever I've learned from my page, from growing my page, is all the learnings that I've put into this. So that's why I tell people like content creation is not a waste of time, because it is
Yes.
not a waste of time, because you learn so many skills. And I'm sure you would also have experienced the similar thing, right, where even with your podcast, whatever you're learning from this, your passion project, you're able to bring it into your
Yeah.
professional life as well. So I love it. I absolutely love it. And for me, the main thing is work culture, because I've worked in places where you're working kind of 24/7, because that's the nature of news. Whereas here it's like
Exactly.
very defined. No emails on weekends, no emails or calls post 7 p.m. or before 11 a.m. So I found it very refreshing to have that kind of work life balance and that kind of workplace respect, which I thought was not possible in India, because everybody's like, हाँ ये तो होता ही है. Even like today I get
Ah.
so many emails, which is not from work but like Instagram work related. People emailing at 11 p.m., 11:30 p.m. on a Saturday night, and I'm like, guys, please don't work on weekends.
But
Don't
do
work
do you
like.
have you ever responded to those emails which are like off work hours? Oh.
No, I try not to unless it's super urgent. I don't check my emails on the weekend. Whatever I have to reply, I reply on Mondays, because they say like you have to create the boundaries that you want, right?
Right.
So the more that you keep responding and reacting to these things, then people will keep calling you up on weekends and working on weekends. And I view like I take Instagram very seriously. I see it as work, and so I give
Yeah.
it the same discipline as well as the same kind of boundaries that I would do with my professional job as well.
So with me, it's like so the thing is when you are doing just social media, so you are
Mhm.
expected to work even on a national holiday.
Yeah.
So
Not
that
such thing as
is
a holiday, right?
there's no holiday. So even that day, okay, say post RK, okay, you have to post this at 11 a.m. for this account, 2 p.m. for this account. And one in fact, Abhi, this happened on Republic Day. There was a post gonna go at I think 9 a.m. and I did not wake up because my parents didn't know that I had working on it.
Oh.
And oh my god, it was a very bad day after that.
Yeah,
So
that's the worst. When you can't find a moment to sort of relax and you're
yeah,
constantly in work mode. And I'm like, that's the nature of social media, right? It's always alert, and you feel the need to respond all the time and be engaged all the time and
exactly.
post all the time. Um, but yeah, I mean, you have scheduling tools, right? Which you can just schedule posts to go live at
But
certain times.
I think like I don't know where I heard or I read this key. If you use those scheduling tools, uh, Instagram tend to not push it. Now I don't know how true is that because it's considered as a third party app, third party website, and then it's just like algorithm thing. Or algorithm thinks the algorithm works in a way ki, okay, if you are not gonna give time to Instagram, then why should Instagram give time to you? So I like this is something I read somewhere, so that's why I never like sort of experimented that with clients. So,
But I don't think that's necessarily true, because you have
yeah.
this platform called Facebook Creator Studio, right? Which works for Facebook,
Ha.
and
Oh yes, that I have.
so that's built within the system itself. So that's a tool from Facebook which you can use to schedule posts. Of course, you
On
can't schedule
Instagram
reels.
as well.
Yeah, so it has a
Okay.
tab where one part is for Facebook and one part is for Instagram. So you can post on both simultaneously. You can schedule for both simultaneously. It makes life very easy. Only thing is that you can't post videos, I think, and reels. Reels
Yeah.
you can't post.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
check it out.
Coming to
Makes life very easy.
thanks. Gonna use this. But I want to ask you this. So in your when you are working or you're at your workspace. So right now you work from home, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. My office recently started. So.
Oh
But
no.
yeah,
Okay.
that's I told you na mail par ki like when we figured a
Right,
weekday,
right.
so you're like, oh no,
Mhm.
ab to garbar ho gayi, ab to I have to go. So I told you let's do it on a weekend. So what happened? First of all, I quit that job as well. I'm on notice period, but guys, tea. So, but have you ever experienced this in your workspace or in general with people who are in your corporate world, that they try to leverage the Instagram thing or Instagram following you have. Have you ever experienced that? Because I have.
So,
मैं तो नोटिस
the
पीरियड में हूँ, मैं कुछ भी बोल सकती हूँ.
So,
हाँ.
I mean, I started growing on Instagram very recently, like the past year itself, which is the same time that I shifted to this job. So, I haven't experienced that here, but I know that my friends who work in other companies, in especially like media companies, their companies are like, hey, why don't you share it on your page? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Which I think is an okay ask, but it shouldn't be a scenario where if you say no, then they'll be like, oh, you don't care about the company, you don't want to do this. Because there are some things you might share which is very on brand for you on
True.
your page, but you wouldn't share some random work thing that someone else has asked you, right?
That's
Ultimately,
true.
you have to be in a position where you have to be like, okay, I mean, I could post it, but I don't think it's in line with what I usually do.
That's true.
It also comes to when people share their work with you. It could be your friends or fellow creators, and they're like, hey, could you please share this? And if it's something you don't agree with, or something, like when people say, hey, if you like this, please share it. I feel very awkward at times because, um,
You don't want to say
I mean,
that you don't
like,
like it.
yeah, I mean, I like it, but I don't
Yeah.
love it enough to share it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I know that if you share it once, then they'll keep sending every single time, and then you're like, hey man, I'm sorry, but this is my personal page, and
That's me with my friends. I
yeah,
just tell
oh.
them I just tell them share it. I don't give them an option. That's it.
I was like, oh, I don't want you to feel bad, also I'll share it once, but like, beyond that, it's like, hey man, please understand, yeah.
But okay, okay, that's a fair enough answer. But otherwise, yeah, coming to your this content creation thing, I really want to know, how do you come up with these ideas? Matlab, what is your inspiration? Because first, I love your that series where like there is a the kid thing happening, and then it tells you, Satshya ji, please help me with this. Big old ball, like I think that's my favorite thing. I don't know, I just enjoy it too much.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
That kid is actually based on me and how irritating I
Oh.
was as a kid to my older siblings and all my older cousins because I was the youngest in the family. So I would always bother everyone and be like, "Hey, can you do this? Hey, can you play with me? Hey, can you
Yeah.
do this?" So that's drawing from my own experience, but I think that's largely my approach with ideation as well. I don't think I'm a very funny person. I think I'm just good at observing people and observing surroundings, and I have very funny people around me. Like a lot of my dad reels are based on my dad only, who does really funny things like saving all the boxes and being like, I will do something with this, and like stuff like that.
That is very, I feel this is a very nice observation, because I'm damn sure it's not just your household. I have seen in my families, like it's my house, then another relative's house. I have figured this. This is like such a मतलब छोटी सी चीज है, but you can make a very fun thing out of it. So I really like that.
Yeah, and even the Malayalam series that I do of hacks to learn Malayalam, where I take similar words and then I put it together in a sentence.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
even the words, like, my parents talk Malayalam at home. So when they're talking, sometimes they'll say, that mull, kul, whatever. Like when they say
Mhm.
words together, and I'm like, oh, that sounds familiar, idea.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
I write it down. So they are an active part of. The scripting process, at least when it comes to the Malayalam stuff, because I sit down with them, I say, okay, these are my words, I need to put it together in the sentence, and then I give them a sentence. I'm like, how does this sound? And my mom is always like, gee, that doesn't make sense, you shouldn't be teaching people this is very wrong, I'll give you a better sentence. So it's very nice that even though my parents are not on
Hmm.
social media, they're not very active, that they are involved in this part of my life and they help out actively, and they really enjoy also reading all the comments that
Oh.
people give, which is I tell people, listen, my mom is reading all the comments. Please be polite. It's okay if you don't like it, but be polite.
So I don't let my parents read my comments.
No, why?
I just asked them don't, because the thing is, I don't know, like there could be times that I haven't seen a comment which could be, might be offensive, might not be offensive, but if they like, I have developed this thick skin, so I don't
Yeah.
care at this point. But because okay, so I have this philosophy, let's say, like if a creator, or let's say somebody I feel who is credible, if that person is coming up to me and telling me, Sukriti, see, ये जो content है ना, if you could have done it this way, it could have been better, or ये बहुत खराब है, don't
Yeah.
do this, then I would have accepted. Now there is a person who I have no clue where he is from, he or she is from, if that person is a he or she, I have no clue. So that what is, मतलब मेरे को फर्क नहीं पड़ता उससे. Like I just feel it's just a internet bot. I just treat it like that sometimes. Sorry
Mm.
guys, sorry. मतलब थोड़ा समझो ना. तो so, so like there could be times I just ignore it, and my parents would feel कि okay, oh how are they talking to my daughter like this, ऐसा
Yeah.
ऐसा ऐसा
What
बोल
do
रहे
you
हैं.
think?
हाँ, like oh,
Who's this person?
and it could be anything, and it could be as simple as what are you putting, stop uploading videos. It could be something like that, and हमें फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा, but they'll be like, सुकृति तो ऐसे बोल रहे हो.
Yeah.
So, so I just ask them, don't read, कोई बात नहीं, होता है ये. So that happened. But have you ever like you told me it's been 1 year that you are in the content space. So have you ever like met somebody offline in the creator space? Abhiga?
Yeah, I did actually. There was this shoot where I met a couple of other creators, a lot of South Indian creators in Chennai, and they were people that I was following for a while, and I'd also collaborated with some of them like virtually. So it was really nice to meet them in person. Apart from that, there are a few creators in Mangalore as well who I have met,
You're in
but
Bangalore.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm
I'm based
sorry,
out of.
but can you please help me with Mangalore and Bangalore? I'm really sorry.
So Mangalore, no worries, no worries, I'll tell you.
हाँ,
So Mangalore and Bangalore, two very different places. Mangalore
okay.
is on the coast side. So you have Mangalore, you go further up, there's Goa, then you go further up, then it's Mumbai. So Mangalore is on the
Okay.
coastline, okay?
Right.
Bangalore is more interior, like it's like Delhi to Bangalore. If you draw a straight
Oh,
line, you'll
okay,
be
okay.
Bangalore. It's like that.
Got it.
Like Mangalore is more residential, more schools, educational institutions. Small. It's a small city, I would say. Yeah.
And how far is it? It's like a 2 hour.
An overnight bus journey. If you're going by bus, it's overnight. If you're going by car, it's about 9 to 10 hours.
Oh,
So
it's
not very
that
close.
far.
Yeah, yeah, it's quite
Oh,
far.
okay. Got it. I was thinking, तो मैंने कहा okay, मैं क्या पूछ लेती हूँ क्या हो गया अब. अगर अच्छा, also if there's something I just say, or if you say something flow में, you can just ask me to cut it if you don't want it. ठीक है?
No,
I give that liberty to people. Because I always want my conversation. So when you asked me कि okay, what would be the broad topics, I was like, यार ये तो मैंने भी नहीं सोचा है. I never think about things. मैंने content creation ही होगा और क्या करेंगे. So I don't think much about it, and I try to make people as comfortable as I could. ताकि
Mm-hmm.
there is nothing कि बहुत interviewing लगे. Yeah, I want that podcast feel to be there. That's my
Yeah.
goal, and I hope I'm achieving it. If I am like, so, yeah. But okay, if you don't mind, how old are you?
I'm 27.
Oh, okay. I thought you were
Yeah.
like 24-ish when I got thoda sa. But I think heard one podcast of yours when I heard कि you had a different job पहले या something around that. मेरे को याद नहीं, काफी टाइम पहले सुना था. So तब मुझे लगा कि age must be 25, I think. पहले I was assuming 22, 23. Then I came to 25 होगा, I think अब तो 24, 20. Okay, ठीक है. तो हाँ, but yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah, you were saying.
sorry, I think the last 2 years anyway don't count because of lockdown and
Exactly.
all of that. So you would say, yeah, I'm 25, bro. I'm totally 25. What about you?
What do you think?
I don't know. I'm very scared, when someone asks me, like, can you guess how old I am? And I'm like,
No, no.
some people like me considered older, some
No, I
don't.
like it either way. If I'm considered older, I just feel okay, I look mature, good. If I look younger, that's anyway a compliment. So yeah, just take a random guess then.
Oh, okay. I'd say 25.
22.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah, but yeah. So talking about podcasts, I also recently saw that you also started a podcast, and I think first episode में you talked about that it's a voice of anchor program. What exactly is that, and can I also enroll?
I think they have entries starting up very soon. I think you can just follow their page on Instagram. They do that. It's like a Kickstarter program for podcasters where every week they give you a challenge and a theme and say, okay, this week
Oh,
the challenge is take your audience to an experience, or this week the challenge is to do something global, or this week the challenge is to work with a team. So every week you have challenges and you make your podcast according to that, and then there's a leaderboard, and if you're on the leaderboard you get like prizes like equipment like a mic or
oh,
headphones and things like that.
that's cool.
So yeah, it's really nice, and we've had master classes as well. So I think it's a really good opportunity for people who either are budding podcasters or who want to explore this space to have that sort of guidance, right? And to be able to grow out their podcast. But if you are enrolling, the thing is, you will have to launch a new podcast to be considered for this. They don't consider your metrics of your existing podcast.
तो
So you'll have
बाकी
to
कर
do a new.
लेंगे. So I have an idea. यार चुराना मत कोई, ठीक है? I have an idea to start.
Are you sure you want to say this out on the internet?
I'll think during the edit कि क्या करना है, if I want to keep it. Edit तो मैं करना है ना, ठीक है? So I say it and you might not even know it, ठीक है? So I had this idea that so not every single time I can get a creator. So I wanted to start a separate podcast where I just talk about my experiences, and I have figured that when I'm talking to other people, no offense, but people think कि वो ही लोग बोल रहे हैं, and they are the one giving you content, but you are not doing anything. And मेरे को बहुत बार like these are the comments my parents talk about. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, so and recently I was sitting on a Discord call, and then people just were like, Sukriti, तुम्हें ना I think थोड़ा और बड़ा होके podcast करना चाहिए था, like you should have grown up a bit and then you should have started, because people who right now have podcasts are either too experienced or too famous. I go, oh my god, this was harsh. So then I was like, okay, fine, we'll see, करते हैं कुछ. And फिर उसके बाद I realized that I do have a lot of things to share in general. Like I have a lot of business experiences. I've worked in a radio station. I've worked in an agency. But काफी experience है. Otherwise also I am a design student and a psychology student. तो मैंने कहा यार ये सब कुछ मैंने कभी शेयर नहीं किया. So I wanted to start a podcast like Spilling Tea with Sukriti, something on those lines. And it's a very catchy name, like Badmaaash Baatein, guys. So this is what we're gonna do. Yes.
Another Sukriti out there? Better not.
Yes, guys.
Or Prakriti or Akriti. Anybody else? Mitti.
Yes, guys. तो ऐसे नहीं करना है, कोई नहीं उठाएगा, ये मेरा है. So that's something I have in mind. And I think I would want to try that voice of anchor. So because again, I wanted to ask you, if you're doing this voice of anchor and if they give you challenges and you want to do it, but sometimes when you have a creator interaction on a podcast, how do you go about that with the challenge if you want to do it?
So I do both.
You do?
I don't want to, yeah. Or if I can, I delay the release of the creator video. But I know that I promised my audience like this week, this conversation is going to be happening. So I don't want to let my audience down. So then I do both, which is insane because last week I had to do like 5 episodes plus a creator episode. So it was a lot of work, but I was like, chalo, theek hai. But I think going forward, even the way they formulate the challenges will be in a way that you're going to be able to incorporate your own style and your own format with what the challenge is. So I don't think it should be a problem going
Oh,
forward.
that's nice.
Yeah, it's a good way also for you to try different formats and themes and experiments. Because when you're just starting off with a podcast, it's easier to experiment than when you've already established a format and you're telling your audience, and your audience knows what to expect every week. Like Badmaaash Baatein, they'll know that you have a creator. And
Hmm.
suddenly, if it's just you talking, they'll be like, Sukriti, I mean, what's
Are you a
going on?
loner
So,
again?
again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like मेरा तो podcast start करने का my idea was that A, I'll get to learn, and B, that so when I told you that when I do a podcast, I have a certain level of comfort with the creator prior. So prior to
Right.
the podcast. So what happened when my with my podcast, first 20 to 25 episodes. So I have around I think 43 episodes right now.
Okay.
And first 20-25 episodes were just with my YouTuber friends who I have
Mhm.
had over like 2-3 years
Right.
YouTube का. So तब जो भी network I had built, I was like चलो इसको हम utilize करेंगे, इसको हम content बनाएंगे. Because there have been times like let's say if I'm an entertainment creator, I have a travel blogger friend, or I have a
Hmm.
person, let's say, who has a very completely different audience. So I always used to think इसका तो मैं क्या video बनाऊँ, क्या करूँ मैं इसके साथ. I want to use this network. So it sounds very bad. ऐसे मत सोचो मैं ऐसे ही करती हूँ, but it's just very creator quality. so,
Hmm.
so yeah, that's how I did my first 25 episodes. And in those conversations itself, I was like, I learned so much.
Yeah.
And like they were, I mean, I did not expect it to come off as so nice and therapeutic for me, but it did. So
Yeah.
yeah. Uh,
Yeah, it's really nice when you get to have a like having a podcast makes you reach out to people and have conversations with them that you normally wouldn't have
exactly.
unless you're catching up over coffee or tea or something. So I
They
think
don't even do that
I'm
if
where
it's
you
not
are.
for content. They won't even come for that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think I'm where you were about 2 years ago when you just started. I'm in the same boat where I'm reaching out to people who I already have a connection with, and because it's comfortable for me to talk to them. I know what I want to talk to them about.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would be interesting to see where you're going to go forward because I'll be like, okay, I so that's what's going to happen. Cool.
Yeah. But and in case ये podcast हमारा like I was thinking comfort level सही हुआ, which is there अभी तक तो so
Trip down to Mangalore. I will take you to some
yeah.
beaches,
हाँ,
nice
और फिर
food.
that would be like a vlog podcast का mix, guys. That would be a new
Guys,
form.
this is how creators make plans. I was like, come, buddy, I will hang out with you. And she's like, come, let's make videos. Let's make. But that's the way content
Yes.
creators go.
Aage,
Yes,
I'll tell you what happened with me when I went to Mumbai. Recently, I went to Mumbai. Yahi plan. 5 days trip, 5 podcasts done, sorted. 5 vlogs भी निकलेंगे per day एक. So now I'll tell you. I reached. I was very tired. I slept. I contacted everybody रात को ऐसा जो मुंबई में whosoever I knew content creator हो ना उसको भी कर दिया. I'm in Mumbai. क्या सीन है? So I kid you not. I think I had 3 to 4 creators confirmed जिसका podcast करना है. They all cancelled. मैंने कहा यार ये तो बहुत ही गलत हो गया. Yeah, so sometimes planning failed. अगर आप पे numbers है ना तो ही आप जीत सकते हो guys. Sorry. numbers तो नहीं हो पाए. तो आपको इज्जत नहीं मिलती है थोड़ी. But do you agree with this thing?
at first sight, yes, because that's what people judge you by.
Right.
Especially like if someone sends you a request or you send someone a request, you're also looking at the number of followers they have. Like when you reached out to me, you were also cognizant of how many followers I had, right? And that's fine. That's absolutely normal. Even when it comes to who you decide to collaborate with,
That's
numbers play a big role because you're trying to figure out, okay, we both have this much audience, it'll cross pollinate, whatever. But I think this is a very cliche saying, but it's very true that numbers might be one thing, but content is king, right? There are so
True.
many creators who I've seen their videos are so good and so funny, but they have like 10K followers. And I'm like, why don't they have more followers? And then 3 weeks later, they are at 100K. So, it's if you are, I'm talking about it from the perspective of a content creator, you're looking for a collaborator, don't look at just numbers, because you have to be able to look at, is this person's content really interesting? Or if you're a podcaster, is this someone who I find really interesting and I just want to talk to, regardless of the numbers? Because you know, at the end of the day, it's going to be good content, right? Even if I'm collaborating with someone who has 10K followers, but their work is so similar to mine and I think it would be such a great fit, I still go for it because I enjoy that process and I like it. And there are also times where there are creators who have, like, say, double the number of followers of me, but our content is completely different, maybe completely different languages, different styles. Like, maybe they do only dance and I don't do any dance, and if they ask to collaborate, I'm like, we can consider it, but it wouldn't be the style that you're looking for because I don't think it would be a good fit. So yeah, numbers do matter a lot at first glance, but in terms of success, I think people will return to you and keep building your following and tell other people about you only when your content is good or interesting. So, to illustrate that example, in Voice of Anchor, we have some creators who have huge followings, like crazy huge followings, but they don't work as actively on their podcast. So their podcast doesn't get as many listens and plays, etc. So they never come up on the leaderboard. So you would imagine that someone who has so many followers, that would immediately translate to views and therefore push up their podcast on in terms of listens, but that's not necessarily true. It's the people who have really good content and who really work hard on making their podcast really well, that they're at the top of the leaderboard. So yeah, content is king.
That's a very nicely put thought. But like as you said, ki okay, when you let's say I am at 10K, I see a
Mm.
person with fairly 250K.
Mm.
Okay. So, and I know ki okay, if I do a podcast or a video with this one, I
Mm-hmm.
will definitely I know for sure is cutter audience and they will come and watch it, and they will subscribe and all of that. I know. But the like this has happened with me before, like way before, in my content journey when I did not have a podcast. Ki they give you a like a shout out ho gaya, audience has come and everything good has happened, you have increased, let's say 10K, say you have gone up to 15K or 20K. Now that audience is came for that one person, and
Mm-hmm.
now they like, या तो उनके feed पे, because they did not interact much with your content,
Mm-hmm.
और तो वो थोड़ा सा दिखता नहीं है, because this happens with us also, we are not
Yeah.
visible to all the followers we have. So मतलब mostly views least viewed वाला section होता है अपने पे. So that happens, and then also the fact कि okay, they have just subscribed or they have just followed, but now it's just there, now they're not interacting and kind of becomes a dead audience for us. So this situation is something I always I'm very fearful of when I'm collaborating. So yeah, this happened with me when long back, mostly Sane gave me a shout out, and that audience is just guys,
Yeah.
if you came from there, just let me know. That you're still here.
Yeah, I think it largely has to do with what expectation they followed you, because like um, a lot of times creators say, hey, check her out, she's interesting. And so, people will just follow you for that. But if there is a creator who has said, she makes these great podcasts that are really interesting, if you're interested in podcasts, then go listen to it, then that's very intentional following, right? And that's when it converts to long time followers. So I think, yeah,
I didn't get it. Intentional following as in?
so, see, now if I were to, for example, if I were to say, oh, Sukriti is really funny, follow her. So people who follow you with that intention would expect only funny stuff. But if you start doing like serious stuff or long form conversation, things like that, then they'd be like, hey, this is not what I signed up for. So it depends, I guess, on your shout out and also on what was said in the shout out. And I think also when you're collaborating with someone, it's very important to maintain your own identity in that, because if people follow you after looking at that collaboration, they are following you with a certain expectation in mind. Say for example, if you did a collaboration where you were doing some great art with someone else,
Hmm.
and then you don't do any other art content after that, so someone who followed you expecting good art content would be like, hey, this is not what I signed up for, and so they unfollow. It's not that they don't like your other work, it's just that it's not for them. And I think that's something I've also realized not to get offended by when people unfollow, because unfollowing is
Yeah.
very, very common.
Right.
Every day people unfollow you, and when you're a new creator, it's very hurtful, because you're like, huh, why are they unfollowing me, am I doing something wrong? But it's absolutely normal.
And it's
And
actually
now I,
good that people who are not interested, they are just going. So वो dead audience बनने का भी वो नहीं रहेगा. There is a
yeah,
space for that.
and yeah, and it's, I mean, you also, as an individual, as a consumer of things, all things content on the internet, you would also unfollow people when you feel like they're not doing the stuff that you followed them for, right? So it's nothing, I mean, I don't take it personally at all. It's only when maybe there was this time that I had put something related to the office, and someone was like, I hate the office, and I put something related to the office, so I'm unfollowing you. So those are moments where, like, I mean, I don't know what to do about it, but I mean, it's fine. Yeah, so unless you've really messed up or you've said something super offensive, people don't unfollow you en masse. So you have to look at who you are as a creator and be very clear about that, and keep building on the audience that you have and listening to what your audience wants. Because a lot of times people give you feedback like, hey, probably, hey, Sukriti, you're kind of doing the same thing over and over again. Do you want to try something new? Or hey, how about you try this? How about you try that? And in the beginning, you can be a little bit like, hey, how can you say that? I think I know what's best, right? But I've realized that being receptive to what your audience wants works really well, because they are the ones watching your videos.
True,
They are
true,
the ones
true.
who want to share your videos. And sometimes you're so close to your content, you get blinded by it. And you're like, nahi, nahi, ye to acha hai. It's like when you put makeup and you think it
Hmm.
looks fab, but everybody's like, actually, you know what? It doesn't look that great. You don't realize it. So it's good to have that honest audience feedback. And if it's something that works for you, go for it. Some of my most successful work have been based on what people have told me that, hey, why don't you try this? Hey, why don't you try that? Or, and I'm like, okay, sure, I'll try it, no problem. So it's been great. I'm totally up for audience feedback that's constructive.
Noted. This is my learning, my lesson for the day, guys. क्योंकि I think I should do this. So मेरे साथ थोड़ा सा उल्टा है. What I do, so I had this series on my YouTube, because I am more of a YouTube content creator than an Instagram creator. तो Instagram तो अभी मैंने शुरू किया, कोशिश करती हूँ मैं 30 days 30 रील हर महीने शुरू होता है, वो कभी नहीं हो पाता.
Yeah.
so so I'm more on YouTube. So I have this series called trying pickup lines on streamers, Indian YouTubers, ऐसा. And I'm pretty good at it. So yeah. But the thing was, at the start, when I started it initially, first one first 3 to 4 times I was enjoying it, because I was doing it out of for myself, because I was just enjoying it. But when I saw, okay, this is picking up 100k views, itne views, I go, oh wow, very nice. And under every video I would get, I make more of these, and now when I have that pressure, I'm like, I don't have pickup lines now, sorry. It just comes out as a situational उसमें. So I would be like, यार इसमें मैं क्या वो करूँ, but मैं ना अंदर से आ नहीं रहा, तो मैंने कहा चलो करना पड़ेगा, चैनल डेड हो रहा है तो करना पड़ेगा, लगता है थोड़ा सुन लेना चाहिए इनका. तो yeah, I think I should, guys, pick up line video soon.
And
So
also, apart from that, I think while it's great that your audience is telling you that, hey, we want to do this, that shows clear demand in the market. But it's also, I think, for you, like, to try out things that you find interesting, because you never know what will click. Like the Satshya series is not something I planned. Okay, I'm going to do an entire series with this little kid. It was one day that I just had this idea that I'm like, oh, let me try this. I just tried it and people were like, "Oh, this is great." And then there are series where which I tried which didn't really take off. So those let's not talk about it.
Which ones?
Never
Which
do.
ones?
There
Which
was
ones?
some that I tried. I tried a new ending sound like "Hayo" or something like that, and that
Oh,
didn't really
it
click.
works, I think. वो तो
No, I
ऐसे.
had a. So there are two different sounds. This one, hoodoo, which is
Oh
like
yeah,
a.
yeah.
Yeah. And I tried a ayo, like which is a more down energy one.
अच्छा अच्छा.
So I tried it for a couple of things for a particular style, and it didn't really like I tried it twice or thrice, and I was like, chalo, it's not really hitting. Let me just get rid of it. But even the hoodoo was simply I tried it in one video, and then people liked it, and I was like, okay, cool. I'ma do more of it. So yeah.
Can you give me a second? मेरा ना बैटरी डेड हो गया है, थोड़ा सा चार्ज
Oh,
करना है. Just a
the
second.
phone battery.
हाँ.
Phone battery?
नहीं, हाँ, I had a camera here. So
Oh,
just a
nice.
second. Beautiful Suku back here. But yeah. अरे यार तुम लोग को मेरा प्लेट वगैरह दिख रहा है तो ये बस देखा ही नहीं मैंने. वो मेरा चाय का एक कप था, उसका प्लेट इतनी देर से यहाँ पड़ा था. I did not see that. Sorry. यार ऐसे ये सब चीजें मत देखना, ठीक है?
All natural. Real authentic.
Yes, I barely cut out anything. बस edit में थोड़ा sync वगैरह करती हूँ मैं. And yeah, that's all I do. I don't like to put in a lot of effort.
Yeah. No, actually, I think the first podcast that I edited, I took 8 hours to edit it because I was like, oh, if there's an or a stammer, I must make it as perfect as possible. And then I was like, that doesn't make any sense because that's not how you would talk naturally. And also, it's too much time taken in editing. So I was like, I'm not gonna do this. Let me keep it natural. Let me keep it real, like a regular conversation. And I think as people listening also like that, no? It feels like they're also
Yeah.
part of the conversation.
That's true. Arey, I kid you not. This has happened with me. I don't know. I think आपी का कोई था कोई podcast. I don't remember which one. You were having a conversation with somebody, and you guys are talking, and मैं कहा, अरे but इसमें तो अरे I am not a part of this conversation. I am part of it, but I'm not. I kid you not. This has happened with me a lot of times when I used to be on Clubhouse. बहुत active एकदम. So I would be in audience and listening to some people talking about some certain topics, and I'm like, but यार ऐसे तो इसमें फिर मैं कहा, no, I am not there yet. फिर मेरे को ये पॉइंट लाना था. अच्छा हुआ मेरे को याद आ गया. ये मेरे साथ बहुत बार होता है. I just forget that this is not. I'm a passive listener here. So yeah.
Are you still active on Clubhouse?
I go ऐसा थोड़ा कभी जब एकदम कुछ नहीं होता, सारे apps ऐसे ही पड़े हैं, then I go on Clubhouse.
I've uninstalled it. I'm just like, I'm so sick of all these updates that I get, the notifications.
Yeah.
Because now I'm like, okay, I mean, it's not that interesting anymore. In the beginning, it was like, wow, this is so crazy.
It was, I think when they removed that invite only feature, I think that sort of messed it because people would just randomly get in like खुद के fake accounts बना के, or I don't know, they would just mess around. So even till date I see I go to only like those closed room social rooms to chill with my friends because I have no idea why they are still on the app. मैं कहा Zoom call आ जाओ, normal call आ जाओ, ये क्या एक और app क्यों install करा दिया है. So I would be like कि चलो ठीक है बैठे हैं तो थोड़ा सा ऐसा loner feeling आ रहा है तो हाँ चले जाओ ऐसा. But yeah, अच्छा हाँ, when like okay, talking about like friends and everything, do you get this thing in your friend circle कि ऐसा अरे हाँ मतलब you know they mock you for your content maybe मतलब not in a negative way but हाँ अच्छा मतलब say some of your you know वो जो end के line outro होता है कभी वही ऐसे बोल दिया ऐसा कुछ मेरे को भी याद.
Not really. Because so the way that I speak in my reels and stuff is exactly how I speak in real life also. So for my friends, it's nothing new. It's how they have heard me talking all my life. So now they just say that easy, like, now whenever in any conversation someone says, yeah, it's gonna be easy, then they look at me and like, easy.
अच्छा
I'm like, oh yeah, I get it. Even my
right.
parents also do that. So it's good fun. And no, nobody's really made fun of my content to my face at least. Though I know if it's my friends, they do it to my face, but not really. It's chill only.
So, as we know on our channel that I don't have friends, so I have relatives. They make fun of it. They just say, they look hard situation mein, hello Sukriti, what is up? Ab uth gaye? Because this is my outro. I mean, this is my intro. I start my
Huh.
videos with, hello guys, what is up? It's this
Oh,
tonality.
okay, okay,
So
okay.
that's how, like, even in my stories, I start like, because it I don't know, it's suddenly it picked up. Okay, okay, hello guys, what is up? This is one reel I did, and it just picked up. तो मैंने कहा चलो ठीक है, ये मेरा हो गया अब. So now they do this. I mean, like today only they came अभी आज around for lunch, and they were like, hello Sukriti, आप तो आज जल्दी उठ गए. ऐसे मैं like, okay.
That's so sweet, actually.
Cute at the same time. Sometimes I just get so annoyed. फिर मैं ऐसे respond नहीं करती. And then for every single thing, like today we were just playing after lunch. नहीं, before lunch we were playing cricket in our park. So they were like, हाँ सुकृति vlog कर ले, इसका भी vlog कर ले, vlog कर ले. So for every situation they do that. So I'm like, okay, do you plan to vlog though?
Not so much. I don't like, okay, if I'm meeting my friends, I don't like vlogging it because A, I feel like that's a time which is very precious to me meeting my friends and talking to them. So I don't A, want to make them uncomfortable that it's a camera and they have to be careful about what they're saying. And I don't know. Like if it's very personal, private moments, I like to just keep it to myself. But I think if it's like a thing like, oh, I went to like the biggest mall in Asia, then I would like vlog that because I think that's interesting and that's fun. I don't want to include my friends and my family in my vlogs just because they are not comfortable with being on social media, and so I'm totally fine with that. But otherwise, if it's like trying food or things like that, I don't mind doing it. But it feels little awkward to be like holding the camera and be like,
Yeah.
when you're on the road, hi guys. So I'm in this restaurant. I really have so much respect for people who are able to do that, who don't feel self-conscious and like go with the flow. I feel like you're one of those people. You feel like you're very confident and you're like, hi guys, I'm at this place. Um,
No, so
yeah, so I
after
don't.
this, people actually come up to you and they're like, आप यूट्यूबर हो, आप कुछ बनाते हो. मैं actually वो follow करने लगी थी, लोग को बेवकूफ बना दे. Yes, true. But then yeah, this happened with me. But मेरे को I enjoy a lot. But so the thing why this is a running joke that I don't have friends is because most of my friends, they have gone abroad to study. So I legit
Oh.
don't have any friends.
You don't have anyone in person.
In person.
Yeah, they're real life. They
For
exist.
content. For
Oh,
content.
okay.
Yeah, because either they are too shy या फिर वो मेरे ऐसे बम्बे बम्बे से दोस्त बने हैं अभी.
Nice.
That. But okay, if you start vlogging, so would you consider YouTube or Reels?
I think it's all about the platform that suits the content best, right?
Yeah.
Vlogs work the best on YouTube because you can have a long format one, the
But
horizontal
आजकल तो
format
जैसे
as
mini
well.
vlogs and like how we have seen like Sakshi Shivdasani does, like she
Yeah.
does a
Oh, I really
vlog.
like her
Yeah,
videos.
even I love
Yeah.
her. But it's a very nice format that it has a voiceover and उसमें पूरा it's a legit vlog, but if you see in a short
Yeah.
form. So like
Yeah, I don't know because I don't like that's not my style of content, at least on Instagram, to
yeah.
have a vlog style or a more personal style.
How do you define your style?
Edutainment, education, entertainment. So, like, I teach you languages, I teach you like how
Can
to
you
learn
please
stuff.
tell me my style as well? Which you can't.
What do you feel like if you had to describe yourself? Is it like comedy or conversations or a culture analyst? I mean, I don't know. There are so many things you can call
मुझे उसका
yourself, right?
मतलब भी नहीं पता. बताओ. but okay. I put it in an entertainment space, but again, entertainment में there are a lot of things. So I just say, यार तुम्हें funny लग रहा है तो funny है, it's fine. If you think it's boring, then कोई बात नहीं, entertainment मत बोलो, तुम्हें जो जहाँ fit करना है करो. It's okay, just watch it. So, yeah, I don't know. That's how it is. But how do you go about the situations when your content, a particular sort of video which you really think it will work karega, but it doesn't work, and this happens a lot of times. So मैं ये नहीं पूछूंगी
Oh
कभी
yeah,
हुआ है कि नहीं.
so many
Yeah.
times. You think like, oh my God, this is gonna be so good, and then there's like nothing on it. And the worst part is like half an hour later, you'll be like, oh yeah, I should have like changed the text to this, or this one shot I should have cut out, or I should have made it like crisper, or this should have been the punchline, right? Those are the worst when you know what you could have done better, but you were in like a hurry to make the video posted or whatever. So it's those moments I just take it as a learning thing. Ki chalo, next video will be better. So there are a lot of my videos which have preceded ones that have gone over to like 1 million, 3 million, 5 million, which were along the same lines but hadn't reached it yet. And so those are like my test videos, what I look at it now, and I'm like, okay, because I've taken learnings from that and applied it to videos that I make, which like you know will do well because you've learned from your mistakes in the past. So whenever something doesn't work, I'm not like, oh, I'm not funny anymore. I just look at it like, okay, I did something wrong, something is not working. And then I maybe show it to my brother or someone. I'm like, hey, do you think this is funny? And my brother will be like, no. Or like, this part wasn't funny. So I'm like, okay, cool. Next one, I will keep this in mind and try to do something
But
better.
okay, so in this situation, do you think that because I feel ये जो content है, let's say what you make and
Hmm.
what I make or what you consume, what I consume, it could be very subjective. Like the other day, I made a reel on. It's a very again very observational thing that when we tend to wish Republic Day. Most of the time we say, "Oh, Happy Independence Day," and then it's Republic Day. So
Yeah.
this is a very small thing जो मेरे साथ स्कूल से हो रहा था, and this happened on my college group recently. तो मैंने I was like, oh, this is real content. मैंने reel बनाया. I showed it to a relative of mine, and she was like, and like थोड़ी वो मेरी age के है, so I showed it to her. So and she was like, this is not funny, this is not even patriotic, why are you putting this? And मैंने कहा अरे यार sorry मैंने तो डाल दिया अब. And people actually liked it. Like I did not expect. जब भी कोई creator अगर मेरा video like करता है ना, especially when I'm following them, चाहे वो करे ना करे, मैं अगर मैं करती हूँ ना, so and they have liked my content, तो वो मुझे बहुत validation feel होता है उससे, and I'm like, okay, this is actually good. ऐसा मुझे feel होता है. So and a lot of creators liked it. So Republic Day it is, guys.
At the end of the day, even creators are human beings, right? And if it's something you
Yeah.
relate from childhood, you will find it like funny.
Yeah.
So I take response from creators seriously when they talk about something like, oh, the writing was good or the editing was good because they're coming from a
Yeah.
technical perspective. But otherwise, again, like what you might find, what I might find very funny, which is relatable to people, say in Mangalore, you may not find funny. And that's fine because you don't relate to it, right?
Yeah.
So, context wise, I think if you know your audience well and you know why people are following you, then that's the indication of what kind of content you need to create.
तो राइट एंड वैसे भी मैं थोड़ा एंड करने लगी थी, बट एक मेरे को एक और क्वेश्चन है.
हाँ
One
हाँ
more.
जरूर.
I want to bleach my hair again. Can you please guide me?
No, this is the advice I give everyone. If you want to bleach your hair, just go to the salon and do it because bleaching is what really can damage your hair,
Yeah,
right? And you have to do it
exactly.
the right way.
Yeah.
So when it comes to bleaching, I just tell everyone, please go to the salon and do it because they'll do it well. They'll do it to the very light level that you need to do it because I've bleached my hair by myself and I've done it so badly and ruined my hair. So just go to the salon and just tell them what level you want based
Yeah.
on the hair color that you want to do beyond that.
क्योंकि अभी
Yeah.
थोड़ा सा पिंक पर्पल है, it's like a purple fade right now. I use Birds of Paradise, but मुझे अभी वही है कि अभी अभी मैं पर्पल तो कर लूंगी. I have a purple with me, but फिर मेरे को ब्लू करना है ना.
Yeah, you need to lighten it, otherwise you won't get a true purple that you're looking for. It'll be like a
Yeah,
brownish, reddish purple, na?
true, true, true. So yeah,
Excited to see this. Are you
yeah,
a gamer also?
yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
uh, I'm asking an obvious
yeah. Cool.
question.
I've recently started, like I've been a gamer for a while, but फिर मेरे को gaming channel start करने में ना बड़ा आलस आ रहा था. तो फिर I recently did it. So अभी
Awesome.
it is not even monetized yet. तो मतलब एकदम ही newbie है वो. So yeah.
Nice. What games do you play?
I play mostly shooting games and
Mm-hmm.
or sometimes I just bring in जैसे बहुत ही basic games नहीं होते scribble हो गया chess हो गया I just bring Catan sometimes I play that also like I bring in my friends who are not in person who I can't meet so I just call them on Discord कि आ जाओ खेलते हैं कुछ यहाँ तो लूडो नहीं खेल रहे स्क्रीन पे खेल लो
Oh, yeah. Oh, is there a way that someone can stream Ludo? Because I love
yeah
Ludo,
yeah
but I don't know anyone to play Ludo with.
yeah you can stream it. You can stream any game.
Even Candy Crush, my favorite game.
You can do that. People would want to watch it for you, I think, then.
So the problem with Candy Crush is because it's platformed on Facebook. You can stream it on Facebook, but I'm not really sure if you can
So
stream it
I'll
to.
tell you how if you have like you just connect with your laptop, your phone with your laptop, mirror your screen with it, and फिर मतलब हो जाता है. There is a proper setup for it.
Okay.
And मतलब once you have that setup ready, every single time you
Okay.
just have to connect your phone. That's it. That it's called OBS Studio. It's
Oh,
a
okay.
streaming thing. मतलब streaming के लिए एक वो software है. So
Oh,
yeah.
nice. Because the amount of time I spend playing Candy Crush,
And
reached
not even
explosion.
like nobody expected chess to blow up like how
Yeah.
it did. And there are a lot of people who play Candy Crush, but again they have that thing ना कि यार कौन देखेगा ये
Yeah.
similar. But there are a lot of people. I think Candy Crush has a lot of audience more than sorry, but more than chess because it's a very handy game. I feel it's a very
Yeah.
handy game. So yeah.
And I think I've reached a level also where I can at least give some expert input on certain moves that I'm making. I was just not randomly playing it
Yeah.
because you want to give value to your audience, right? No matter what you
Yeah.
do, even if it's just comedy, but still.
Yeah, it could be fun. It could be really fun. You should try it.
Mm, cool, cool. I will check it out. Awesome.
Yes. But yeah, this was a very fun conversation. मतलब जितनी मैं nervous हो रखी थी ना सब निकल गई है मेरी मैं बहुत nervous I'm not even kidding. I was like पहले तो मुझे लगा because all of your conversations which I heard they were because I knew
Mm-hmm.
you were a Malayali, right? So I did not know कि like how comfortable you would be with Hindi and English और मेरी दोनों ही equally खराब है तो मैंने कहा कि कैसे तो क्योंकि आई कीप स्विचिंग व्हेन आई एम टॉकिंग तो मैंने कहा चलो ठीक है मैं बोल दूंगी क्या हो गया देख लेंगे
Uh-huh. Yeah, I don't have a problem with Hindi. I can understand Hindi fine. It's just that when जब मैं हिंदी बात करूँगी तो तब मुझे लगता है मैं बहुत सेल्फ कॉन्शियस होगी और मुझे लगता है कि मेरा ग्रामर फुल उल्टा पुल्टा है मेरा वो पुरुष स्त्री का
यू
वो
हैव स्पेंट टाइम इन दिल्ली आल्सो ना
Yeah, I lived in Delhi for 5 years while I was working there. When I came, I
वेयर
knew zero Hindi.
वेयर वर
Sorry.
यू वर्किंग
I was working with a news channel. You're ready.
हाँ तो थोड़ा awkward हो गया था तो हाँ उसका मैं कहा मैं मेरे से क्यों पाएगा यहाँ पे तो फिर छोड़ दिया
अच्छा, good call.
या सो मेरे को शर्म आ रही है
How did you like Film City?
It was nice. Yeah, for me, it was convenient because metro. That was the thing. Right now, where I was working, my only concern, I was liking the job I was doing. मेरे को कोई दिक्कत नहीं थी ऐसे national days पे भी working करने का. But I was upset, not upset. I was just exhausted by the travel, and it was
Right.
expensive and it was very far. तो फिर मैंने छोड़ दिया.
Well, I know you're gonna cut this out, but where do you stay in Delhi? Oh,
Yeah.
fancy.
A lot of time they have sort of figured where I live. So Because
Oh, nice.
so like my nearby market is where I usually work or I chill with my friends, and in my
हाँ.
vlogs they have figured कि okay कि इसके आसपास रहती है और एक बार ही मेरा गेट दिख गया तो मैं
Oh, oh, no.
so they sort of figured where I stay.
It becomes a little scary because, I mean, people, they come with a good intention of, oh, hey, you live in us, I live in us too, we can meet.
Yeah.
But it's a bit scary. I don't
Yeah,
feel
so
comfortable.
like I have couple of people like एक बारी मैंने कैफे में पोस्ट डाला था and it was like if I went today I posted it like I went yesterday so I posted it today ठीक है
Right.
तो because मैं थोड़ा रियल टाइम में नहीं जीती हूँ तो I posted it today so they would legit come there like in another 10 minutes अरे आप अब चले गए इतनी जल्दी मैंने कहा मैं कहा
Yeah.
क्या I forgot मैंने अच्छा वो स्टोरी डाली थी and I'm like oh yeah I left
Like sometimes it's very sweet and you're like, oh, people made
it
that
is
effort, they really wanted to meet you. But you don't know who's gonna turn up, and that's the
exactly
scary.
exactly let's say someone sweet also comes up when I'm actually working या कुछ I would be distracted because I'm working
Hmm.
so and this has happened with me तो फिर अब मैंने ऐसे डालना ही छोड़ दिया है शोशेबाजी कल करेंगे चलो कोई बात नहीं
I reach home and then I post everything together. And then
हाँ
people know that I never live post because it's happened to me in the past where I posted and someone's like wanted to turn up and I was like freaked out.
हाँ
So I'd rather have enjoyed that time with my friends and have peace of mind and then go home and post rather than post and then be like, oh no, like something's gonna happen.
but
Yeah.
have you had any fan encounters or follower encounters
Most nice only, where they're like, oh hey, and then like you take a photo or something. Like it's pretty sweet. It's pretty nice, and like largely people are nice. I just had one really weird stalker incident in Delhi, which was very scary for me.
that time you were
So
not a creator
not a creator. So oh no, I was a creator then.
oh
But you said, oh yeah, I was a creator then, so it was like someone who was like, I'm a fan, and it's extremely weird. And they came all the way to Mangalore from Delhi and was like, I'm going to come meet you at your house, and it was just extremely
I
scary.
think I heard this somewhere. You have talked about
Yeah.
it. You have talked
Yeah, I
about it.
think I made a video on how to file an FIR because
Oh
that's what I had.
yeah. You did.
Yeah, so which is then is when I started actively thinking about what I'm posting, what I'm showing in my videos, what you can see.
Hmm.
Even if you're like putting something from your house, what can you see in the background, identifying factors. So
Okay.
you become very conscious. Yeah, keep that in mind because like how people figure out where celebrities are by just looking at certain things in the room. And you would
Oh,
also do that, right? Like sometimes when you're stalking your crush or something and you're like, how he's here
ये
or
किसके
he's
साथ है?
there.
अच्छा
Yeah,
टेबल पे
whose hand
कितना
is that?
टेप प्लेट्स है?
Yeah. And you put all of those details because you can take a screenshot and look at all of that. So in the same way, you should like people can make out where you stay, where you live. Like you mentioned the cafes that you must be posting at, so they must have figured like, oh, she must be going here a lot, so she probably lives there. Then you have to do a little putting people off this saying, "Hi guys, I'm in Gurgaon. Sounds
Yeah,
fab. Love
exactly.
living in Gurgaon."
Exactly. यार मतलब मैंने भी इतना कन्विंस कर लिया ना लोग को कि sometimes they just say कि we want to send you something now. This is the problem. I'm like क्या करूँ अब मैं ये कहाँ का एड्रेस दूँ like I can give the I have a place in Gurgaon but it's not where I stay but
Right.
this because the reason I have actually declared it और अगर पता भी लग जाए ना वो so it is the same society as Siddharth Patras and that is
Oh,
something people have figured out तो
okay.
now it's a little अब उसके चक्कर में थोड़ा हो गया popular people know what place is that but it's a society nobody can enter वो without the guard वाला situation so that is one thing why I have said हाँ मैं वही रहती हूँ so if somebody comes one day shows up one day it's not it
Yeah.
won't be but yeah that's that
Mhm.
but yeah actually it was a very nice conversation यार मेरे को मजा आ गया मैंने कुछ प्लान भी नहीं किया था
Yeah, this was nice. It was free flowing, and it was a good conversation in the sense that it was not like, how did you begin
interview
your content? creation journey?
यार मैं ना
What did you
होमवर्क करके आई
do?
थी. आई हर्ड ऑल योर पॉडकास्ट पहले, सो मतलब आई हैव बीन फॉलोइंग अच्छे से. ऐसा नहीं कि एक रात पहले हमने वो पढ़ाई की है एग्जाम के, ऐसे नहीं किया है. सो आई हैव डन माय वेट एंड देन व्हेन आई हैव लिसनड टू योर, ओके सो आई टेल यू बिफोर वी एंड. मैं हर बार डाइग्रेस कर रही हूँ, बट आई टेल यू बिफोर वी एंड कि when I heard this conversation, I think it was with Ayush Wadhwa. Yeah.
When I'd spoken to him.
So after, during that podcast only, when I told you ना कि मैंने एकदम से बोला अरे but ऐसे, तो फिर I realized oh I'm a passive listener. So that's when I realized I just made some point कि अच्छा okay this is something I want to talk about with this one. मैं क्या करते हैं कभी. फिर मैंने थोड़ा content तो मैं देखती थी and I फिर थोड़ा देखा भाई था, I had an idea about it. तो फिर मैंने कहा चलो ठीक है I'll ask her for a podcast. And ये बेसिक चीज है, मेरे को याद नहीं वो कौन सा पॉइंट था, बट वो मैंने कवर अप कर लिया होगा क्योंकि वो बहुत क्यूरियोसिटी थी मेरे को. आई थिंक इट मस्ट बी वो वाला योर कंटेंट क्रिएशन लाइफ बीइंग लेवरेज्ड बाय द कॉर्पोरेट. आई थिंक दैट वाज माय पॉइंट. आई थिंक दैट वाज द थिंग. तो हाँ, तो फिर वो था मैंने कहा चलो आई विल आस्क हर फॉर अ पॉडकास्ट एंड देखते हैं क्या होता है तो ठीक है, नहीं होता है तो फिर मैंगलोर पहुंच जाएंगे.
Yeah. I don't mind being on podcasts at all because
हाँ
being on the other side of it, I know how difficult it is coordinating all of this, and you want to reach out to someone and talk to them and all of that. I think the most of the podcast requests don't come through because people usually DM, and there are so many DMs coming in that you don't realize when it's coming, or maybe you see it and you forget about it. But with emails, it's easier to track. So since you had sent me an email, I was like, yeah, okay, sure. And then I could see like the trail of conversation, and I remembered also I had to reply.
Did you like, was there any factor that okay because of my followers or something my message was on top on Instagram या फिर मेरा DP या नाम से कुछ, like there was something which kind of popped out when you clicked on my message DM request?
No,
That's
because I
just
think
out of
that was a day.
curiosity.
Yeah, no, I think that was a day. So I don't look at messages from like top requests and don't open ones that are just with top followers, because I remember once I responded to someone who had huge number of followers, and then he got very creepy, and I was like, I'm never doing this again. So just because someone has followers doesn't mean they're a good person or trustworthy. Just remember that. So yeah, I think yours was a day when I was actively checking DMs, and I think I had seen your message then, and I was like, hey, you should email, and I can reach out to you that way.
But did you check out the podcast?
I watched it a little bit, and I saw that you were interesting guests, and more than anything, I knew that you already had a established podcast in the sense that you knew what you were doing, and
Yes,
yeah, so
I'm listening.
when a podcast already has a sense of character, depth, and base, then you know that it's going to be an interesting conversation. Otherwise, if it's someone who's just starting out a podcast, and you get so many requests like this, you really have to pick, right, what you're going to do, where you're going to use your time. So
I
made
hope I
sense.
did not disappoint you.
No, it was a good conversation.
Okay. Yes, guys. But thank you so much. मैंने बहुत ही ज़्यादा खींच दिया. I don't know ये कितना लंबा हुआ होगा. I was expecting like a 1 hour thing, and okay, like 15 minutes. ठीक है.
Yeah, this is normal podcast
हाँ.
duration only.
ठीक है.
Fine.
Also, if everybody who's listening अभी तक, first of all, if you haven't followed Satshya, make sure you do that. All the handles are mentioned. And अगर अभी तक सुना है, so Satshya, we want you again. Comment करो अगर अभी तक सुना है जिसने.
Also, I want to add, I'm very impressed that you're pronouncing my name very correctly, which is a very rare thing.
Oh, is
Usually
it?
when
मैं खुद यार nervous हो रही थी कि ये भी गलत ना कर दूँ. I'm very bad with names. So yeah.
No, it was perfectly fine. I was like, wow, on the first try, that's impressive.
So she's definitely coming again, and comments में फिर भी लिख दो.
मक्खन डाल दिया मैंने.
So comment में फिर भी लिख दो, so that I know that you all have watched or listened to this podcast अभी तक. And Spotify listeners or wherever you're listening, make sure you follow so that I also feel nice sometimes. And also, if you are a podcast enthusiast, or even if you're not, just check out Chuma Conversations. those podcasts are not just ऐसे इतने लंबे भी नहीं होंगे, because there are some bits, if you have a थोड़ा short वो ना रिटेंशन अगर तुम्हें है तो तुम 8-12 मिनट वाले भी सुन सकते हो. they are really उसमें है, there are bits there as well, so you can check that out. Otherwise she has also had some good guests, and मुझे मैंने हसल रानी वाला सुना, I really liked that, and I got a very good perspective and good knowledge from that as well. So very nice podcast. I'll get her as well. तुम लोग भी बोलो जाके. ठीक है. मैं बस यार मेरे को मैं बहुत बेशरम हो चुकी हूँ, मैं कभी भी कुछ भी बोल देती हूँ, सॉरी. So यार, that's how apologetic I am, क्योंकि I have never spoken to her before, but I think she is comfortable now, तो चलता है, ठीक है. So that's it for today. I hope you'll enjoy it, and we'll be back with another episode soon. Commitment नहीं करनी मैं.